So yeah, that's it. I give up. Fuck Resident Evil 9. Okay, so my problem with the game was that I was about to do this very long review about it. It was 4 pages long, and I think it's going to end up being five. And I was reviewing a lot what I was going to say, and I was also looking at the general opinion of the game, positive and negative, and the reviews. And what I found was that there was no negative opinion. Most people were just glazing the game on Steam. It has an overwhelming positive opinion, and so far, only two reviewers I've known have given it negative reviews, one of them being Under the Mayo and the other being Boulder Punch. Under the Mayo, as of now, has not done his review, but he has given some of his opinions about the game, and Boulder Punch has done an hour-long review. And the thing that strikes me the most is that most people, when talking about Resident Evil 9, do not tackle or just challenge any of your opinions. They just say the usual suspects. They just insult you, they attack your character, but they don't talk about your points. And the few that tackle your points say platitudes like, oh, you didn't like it? Okay, I guess. But here's what I liked. It's toxic positivity at its best. And I honestly don't know if I want to give so much time of my life to a thing where most people will be in denial and will not accept the truth about it. And the few who will probably already know, and I'd just be preaching to the choir. I think that's one mistake that we people do, the noticers of this world. We give long, complex, thoughtful arguments, but the stupid people just say a word or two and then just return to being stupid. So I'm gonna sum up pretty quickly my opinions of the game, and then maybe later I'll do a really long, in-depth review for those who care. So here's the first thing. The game is well optimized. There's maybe one or two options that are missing, like the ability to change the FOV or on what shoulder the camera is, but otherwise the game is very well optimized. There's options for the curve of your stick. You can change the dead zone, and when I talk about optimization, of course I really mean just the graphical quality of the game. The game can essentially be played on the potato, and I would say that this puts the rest of the industry on notice, but the rest of the industry never adjusts to positive things. They just mindlessly copy a design trend or just copy just bad trend in general. But my god, this game is well optimized, and even on the lower setting it looks very good, and apparently it is also very well optimized on the consoles, because now that the consoles are pretty much closing the gap with PC, we have games that promise 120 FPS but can barely get 60 frames consistently. And that's about the only positive things I have to say about this game. The rest it's just hell from here on out. So this game, I would describe it as a 6.5 out of 10. It's better than something like Resident Evil 0. It's not boring, but it is frustrating, and I can see the potential in it, but it just needs a lot of rework, and the game could be far better with just a couple of tweaks. There is more than that needed to fix this game, but that would help a lot. But now we go to spoilers. Let's just go in order. The story is just stupid. It's full of retcons that serve absolutely no purpose, and they just open up more problems. For example, Raccoon City was not bombed by the government. It was bombed, if I'm not mistaken, by whether it was Umbrella or the Connection, in order to hide the virus, the Elpis virus, hidden in the Ark in Raccoon City. It makes no sense, because it has been confirmed in-game, in the lore of the games. The ending cutscene of RE3 is the news talking about how the government has decided to just send a thermobaric bomb, or I think an ICBM. I am not sure. It wasn't a nuclear device, but we know that the government has decided to just destroy Raccoon City, and now it implies that the Connection or Umbrella is like this, you know, rogue organization that works outside of the government, but that doesn't work like that. In real life, if you have rogue organizations like that, they just get, you know, the government, they just get hunted down pretty savagely. We've seen it recently with the distraction files, you know what I'm talking about, that if someone does something in the United States, it is because they are in line with the government. The government is either ignoring them or actively participating with them, so there's no way that the connection could just keep going underneath Raccoon City and just none would be the wiser. Also, the characters are in concept really interesting, but in practice really bland and boring. The idea of Grace, I was pretty much one of the few people that actually cared about the idea of having Grace as a new entry point for the series to push it forward. But she gets annoying real quick because she's a scaredy cat the entire time. And when there is resolution, it's not because she has evolved as a person, it's just that things around her get resolved and just fall into place. She never gets past that phase of just being this just useless scaredy cat, and even in the face of danger where she has to protect a kid, she can barely keep it together. So that's kind of pathetic. And they do that thing with Leon where they have fake depth. Having someone reflect on trauma does not make them deep, especially if that trauma has been resolved a long time ago. I don't know why we keep going to this, oh my god, I could not save anyone in Raccoon City. Bitch, please. Leon has been over it for like more than a decade. Like, please, move on to something else. And I guess there's also, I don't want to go too much in depth, but just massive contradictions just that make no sense. This plot hinges on the, oh, I needed you alive for my plan, but I almost killed you several times. If Gideon is actually not evil and wants to cure people using the Elpis virus, which is actually not a virus but a cure, why did he almost kill Grace several times? Why didn't he do like Zeno, the villain? Because yes, there's a Wesker clone, and just walk up to her and just talk to her and try to convince her, and only start being aggressive once she shows hesitation. But no, you try to kill her the entire fucking time. It makes no sense. One of the reasons why I just don't care for doing this review now is because you point out these details to people and talk to people and you say, well, this doesn't make sense. They give you an explanation and it resolves about half your issues or a quarter of them, but I still don't have an explanation for this or that, and they just don't reply because there is nothing to reply to. This game just doesn't fucking make sense. The gameplay is also messy. Of course, you have two characters, but you just end up with this situation where we have two characters that have good ideas, but they're not really focused. And instead of maybe, you know, focusing on just one character to make a better game or have a shorter game, but with a lot of replay value, you just kind of sit on two chairs. So the problem that I have with the Grace section is that neither running or fighting is really good, because they put you in situations where, well, man, let's talk about modern video games, right? Grace is really slow and her movements are really sluggish. Like a lot of modern games, she has root animations. So basically what it means is that the animation is not tied to, you know, the hitbox, the capsule, but tied to the model, and she has to finish all of her animations before she does anything. And that just means it's not responsive. So what happens is that running away is not really a good solution, and enemies will catch up to you, and you get put in situations where well, you just don't have a lot of resources, whether it is distraction bottles or just ammunition. You don't even have a shotgun or a grenade launcher. You have a pistol the entire game. So sometimes you get put in situations where you're clearly supposed to sneak past an enemy, but you can't, because another enemy is just looking in the direction you want to go and will not move and will just stay there. And you probably don't have a lot of bottles left, so you more or less have to confront certain enemies. Certain sequences are clearly made for you to fight, but you just can't do much. I think the part that really made me rage quit on repeat playthroughs is this part where you have to go past one of the stock enemies, Chunk. So here's the problem with the game: the poor balancing and also the scripted sequences. So Chunk, you can't get past him unless you do cool speedrunner shit. So you'll have to kite him around. If you try to hide in the room nearby, he's going to go back to his position, but usually he turns around and but when you're in that corridor next to the critical room, he doesn't turn around, so you cannot use the emo stat to stab him in the back and cheese him. You really have to run and kite him around. And when you do get to the room he was guarding, well, it's a set of just narrow spaces where there's a singing zombie that scream, and the scream damages you. So you're stuck in this situation where you just have to run as fast as you can, try to grab the item, and try to get out before anything happens. My first time was frustrating, and eventually I just made it through by doing leg shots. And my first time I made it through just by doing leg shots and just running past people, but it just didn't feel really organic or like it was meant to be played like that. I really tried everything. I tried to vault over one of the openings and try to kite the zombies, but the zombies have AI that's, I guess, too advanced for their own good, so they'll just vault over too, and not all the zombies follow you, so some will try to go in the path that you're supposed to go to usually, so you just surround yourself with monsters. The AI, like I said, is just too advanced. The enemies can track you and hear you from way too far away and can follow you down corridors, up stair sets, and it just becomes really annoying. Ironically, the limitations of back then made the games more bearable, because having the entire floor follow you is just not fun. And even if you manage to bypass all the zombies, then the singing zombie just stays in the way, and it's really hard to run past her. And yes, you can shoot her, but guess what? It's Resident Evil 4 Remake essentially, where shooting doesn't guarantee a stun, so you have really low chances of crits, and even shooting in the legs just don't do that much. It's better slightly than Remake 4, but you're going to need at least 2 or 3 shots before they stumble, and then by the time you take the object, well, you're just stuck in a corner. The Leon segments, on the other end, were promising enough, because his first couple of segments inside the Grace part are pretty good. Slightly better than Remake 4, because the movement is just not as ass. But unfortunately, when you do get really long parts with Leon, they're terrible, because they're clearly repurposed a multiplayer game, whatever it was called, and tried to shove Leon in. So you have really good gameplay with Leon, but a giant empty space where enemy density is few and far between. And when you do get enemies, they're either really boring or really annoying. Yes, they've brought back enemies with gun. Okay. And then my final portion, and probably one of the biggest reasons why I don't bother with a proper review, is that there is no music. There's maybe one song for the item room, and even the item room song is so down into the mix. It's so much in the background, you barely hear it, and it plays for about a second or two before it stops. And all the other songs are basically quick remixes from RE9 Remake. And guess what? You can buy the soundtrack, Yugoi. Yeah, they did the exact same thing where they make you buy the RE2 soundtrack. It was cheap, but it made sense in Remake 2, but it's like, okay, yeah, I get it, we go back to the RPD, but selling me. At this point, it's just laziness. It's greed, and now it's greed and laziness. Just selling me the RE2 soundtrack. Oh my god. So yeah, all in all, RE9 is not horrible. It's pretty mediocre, 6.5 out of 10. If you're a normie, Bugman Global Homo Slave, you're gonna love it and think it's a 9 out of 10. But honestly, it is not that good. It is, like I said, fairly mediocre. And mark my words, don't you notice that people always talk about 1, 2, 3, but who really talks about 7 or 8? Maybe 7, because it went back to the basics. It essentially copied 1, but nobody talks about 8. And like Dead Space remake and all those remakes, give it 2 or 3 weeks and nobody will care about this game. It has no staying value. It is just being talked about because it is, you know, like when you get a new kid in class and everybody thinks they're cool for like the first week or 2, and then you're just another one of us, and nobody cares about the transfer kid anymore. RE9 is the transfer kid. It's the new thing, and people are too stupid or lazy to install emulators, so they will just not go back to play something else. Yeah. Don't buy this game. Don't buy this game if you're a pretty in-there gamer. Don't buy the game if you're an RE fan, and if you're a normie who has 0.5 seconds of awareness, if you're aware long enough to take a decision, do not buy this game. It fucking sucks. It just frustrates me more than anything. When I'm done playing it, I'm in a worse mood. And I still ended up making a fucking long video.